Okay, one New York team to another. Let's talk about the Jets at the Dolphins. I'm going to ask you the same thing I asked you about the Ravens. Is this a sign of things to come, or is this just a bump in the road for a rising team?
That's a mighty fine question, man. Like I watched that game. Well, I watched most of that game, and I can't figure it out. Like obviously, not having Tua there is going to be something that hinders them. But the way they sputtered, during that game, they showed a graphic. Starting 3-0, and then they went 0-3, and obviously Tua was out with concussions when they went 0-3. But then he came back. They went 5-0. Now they've gone 0-5. Some with Tua, some without Tua. So it's like, what are you going to get from week to week? And I just think the inconsistencies boiled down to a first-year head coach, a really young roster that clearly has some holes in it. And so I think they have the pieces they need for the future. You sign Tyreek Hill to a long-term deal. You have Tua on his rookie contract for a couple more years. Probably going to have to sign him soon if he continues to play. Obviously, he has some things to figure out with his entire career, whether he's going to come back, whether he's going to come back this season. That's all, they haven't really said anything about that. But when you talk about this season, I just think they, again, have shown inconsistencies because of different things. And I think it shows that they aren't ready to be a contender right now, but with the building blocks that they have, they can be in the future if they continue to build it the right way.
I was not a Tua fan. Then I was a Tua fan. And I can't bail on Tua. I think Tua's career is over. When you talked about they went 0-5 after a certain mark in the season, it was after the two concussions. Now, the Dolphins are saying that he's had two concussions and three head injuries and two concussions. I'm calling horse shit. Right? We all know they cover the shit up, or they at least err on the side of no, it wasn't a concussion. We can't prove it was a concussion. Whatever the medical community wants to say, and I don't mean to dog anybody out, but the medical community, the science community, if they can't definitively prove it, they won't diagnose it. I've watched these three games. I've watched football for a long time. I've coached. My kids played. I'm telling you, the man has suffered three major concussions. One of the losses came after he was lighting the whole fucking place up. Then he hit a concussion, and then he looked like dog shit. I think the guy is struggling. I hope they don't play him next. I'm a Dolphins fan, all right? I hope they don't play him. I don't give a shit if it sacrifices your season. He doesn't have any business playing next week. There used to be a rule, 3 concussions and you're out of the game. Out, done. Now they kind of wait and see. They've got a lot of technology. There's still an unwritten rule, 3 concussions in a season, and you shouldn't play anymore in the season. Of course, they're saying he only has 2. I hope the guy doesn't play next week, and I hope he's all right. Every concussion, you're more susceptible to another concussion, right? Concussion, it changes you. I mean, I know people who've gotten severe concussions, and it changes their personality. This is no joke, man. This isn't about who's a pussy and who's not a pussy. I get tired of hearing that, especially from people that never ever played football in their goddamn life. This is serious stuff, and I'm afraid his cognitive decision-making skills have been affected by the head injuries all season long, and I'm afraid he's either done or not going to be the same. I hope he takes his whole life ahead of him seriously as they make these decisions and they figure this out. The problem is that this whole thing's been built around Tua. Teddy Two Gloves ain't it. So now the Dolphins, if Tua is not able to continue to play, or he's not the quarterback that he's shown that he was going to be at the beginning, which is sad, right? Earlier this year, the Dolphins have found a franchise quarterback. He is everything everybody thought he was going to be. And now we have this whole thing going on. It's incredibly sad is what it is. Now you got the same problem the Colts are having. What do? Do you go back to the draft? Do you plug and play with some guys that got a couple years? You got an answer for that?
Yeah. Go get Tom Brady like they wanted to do anyways.
That's a very real possibility. Very real possibility. So we'll see. Tua's not, as of right now, McDaniel said that Tua's probably not going to play this week. So they're taking this seriously. So
I just wish I could talk to guys like Tua, dudes that go through like getting the concussions, because like I've dealt with like migraines for as long as I can remember. I get a few migraines every month, and they take me out, right? Blurry vision, they make me super sick, like physically just weak. And like dealing with that shit sucks. So like and I've always just drawn it back to concussions, especially the last concussion that I got, one that made me quit playing football after my freshman year of high school. And it's like anytime I talk to people that are younger than me, like, or anybody that deals with concussions or gets concussions, it's like if you have a chance to like save yourself from the agony that comes along with what happens when you get multiple concussions, especially when you're playing football so young, and the kind of football that we played growing up and not really knowing anything about concussions. It was just, you're seeing stars, so, get up and keep playing. That's just the way it was. And so, I hope he does what's best for him at the end of this, just like any other football player, especially offensive, defensive linemen. I think about that kind of stuff for them all the time. But it's just, I hope if Tua keeps playing, I hope he's able to stay away from the concussions and he can be a superstar. But like you've talked about, like getting 3 concussions in a single season, like in 1 year, that stuff like messes you up. For one concussion can mess you up for a long time, and getting 3 severe concussions in one season is a pretty serious deal. So I hope he takes the time.
Yeah, to confirm.
Yeah, exactly. 2 confirmed, but more than likely 3. That's a consensus for everybody. But I just hope he does what's best for him at the end of the day.
I agree. I agree. And the Dolphins aren't the same without him. There's just no two ways about it. Now they're at home. The Jets are really in a mental tailspin. I don't know how that play. I don't know if they're like, we can beat the Dolphins. I mean, the Jets are out. They're eliminated. I don't know if they come in and try to save face. They start playing around with the rock. I don't have any idea what they're going to do. This game is a coin flip for a lot of different reasons because of so much uncertainty. I'm going to take the Dolphins because I think right now they're the better team. They're at home. The Jets could come in and win this game just as easily.
That's how I feel. You could flip flop on this one all day because, like, I'm biased because I like Mike White, and when he's the quarterback, I want to see him win. So I'm going to be taking the Jets in this game over, Skylar Thompson, assuming Teddy B, he has a finger injury. It's unclear if he's going to play. Probably not going to play. I think Skylar Thompson probably going to start for them. Okay. And so I'm going to go ahead and take Mike White and Jets to win this game.
Okay. I'm taking the Dolphins.
And I would love to know what you think about this game, what you think is going to happen, who you think is going to win. You let me know down in the comments. Don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you for the next video.